I don't know what moves would be out there to shake up Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell if it wasn't bringing LeBron James home. And that's why I'm in the market to bring LeBron James back to Cleveland, because I think it's just the perfect storm, right? Like, from the nostalgia standpoint, it is season 23 for LeBron, who's going to have his number 23 hanging in the rafters for eternity. It is the 10-year anniversary of the 2016 NBA championship next year. And I wouldn't be pounding the table for LeBron to return to the Cavs the way that I am if I didn't believe that it was a necessity at this point. Because I've seen my fair share of this core four flame out in the postseason. I've seen too many times Darius Garland get picked on defensively. We saw him kind of ironically on LeBron James' podcast. Kevin Durant was speaking about how, well, that's how you beat the Cavs. You pick on DG. And I would venture to elaborate on that. Well, you could really pick on DG because of his size, but you could also really exploit Jared Allen in a seven game series because he doesn't have the ability to pop out in the perimeter and do some of the things that the modern day NBA 5 is able to do. And I blend that all in with this Eastern Conference is as wide open now as it's been in the entire core four era. So it might be easy for Kobe Altman to hide behind that shield and be able to say, well, there's no Tatum, there's no Halliburton, the core four. This is going to be year 4 of all of these guys together. Let's see what they can do. Let's try to make a run with this group that we've built, that we've developed. We feel confident in these young cats. But Kobe, I don't know that I believe you. I don't know that I believe you because I believe the reports that were floated out there from Brian Windhorst and others that Darius Garland was involved in the trade package for Kevin Durant. So if you're willing to part with Darius Garland for a 36-year-old volume scorer that's Kevin Durant, my brain is wired to lead me to believe that there's a conversation to be had with the Los Angeles Lakers about LeBron James. And if there's not a conversation to be had with the Lakers about LeBron James, then I seriously do monitor the buyout market for LeBron. And I know Keith threw cold water all over that. He said that's a pipe dream.
Everybody has thrown cold water.
It's not happening. But the reports out there that he's done with LA and the Lakers are done with him.
The Lakers aren't done. So Kurt Helin or Hyland, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, said for the first time in his career, this is a report from him. This is NBC Sports' version of like Pro Football Focus.
Yep.
He said for the first time in LeBron's career, a team is not solely focused on him. The main piece in LA right now is Luka Doncic. So for the first time, LeBron James called their bluff, and the Lakers are like, yeah, I don't really think that's going to work this time. Because like Brian Windhorst said earlier, we're treating this as an expiring contract on a 40-year-old player. Like, you take the name out of that, yeah, it is a all NBA second team player. That's still a fantastic player, and it is LeBron James, but it's a 40-year-old guy that you aren't really going to build around. So whether or not the Lakers are like all in on him or just whatever on him, they're focusing on the future because they have to.
Well, that's the problem here, right? Is that the Lakers are now on Luka's timeline. They're no longer on LeBron's timeline. So
okay, but we're on Evan Mobley's timeline.
LeBron,
hang on. We're on Evan Mobley's timeline, right?
I don't know.
He is the unicorn that we all think he's going to be, and he took over this last season.
Yeah, he made a nice jump, and we should be on Evan Mobley's timeline. But the fact of the matter is, Donovan Mitchell exists. Donovan Mitchell has 2 years left of his extension, and if they don't get the job done next year, then this time next summer, we're having a very uncomfortable conversation about one Donovan Mitchell. So I think the Cavs are on Donovan and Evan's timeline, whereas the Lakers have made it known they're on Luka's timeline, as they should be.
Okay, the Donovan timeline and the Mobley timeline are not the same thing. And you know how far a Donovan Mitchell-led team can take you. It's the second round. That's why Donovan Mitchell this year signed a couple of years ago signed the extension, because he believed in Evan Mobley, and this year took a step back because he knew And then Kobe Altman and Kenny Atkinson said to you after the season, we go as far as Evan Mobley goes. So it goes back to the thing of why would you blow up this young core that is all in theory on Evan Mobley's timeline?
That's
it
why.
is blowing it
it's
up.
Not
though.
blowing it
Have
up.
you looked at the trades that are there?
I've seen Darius Garland flame out in 3 straight postseasons. I've seen Jared Allen get exploited in 3 straight postseasons. So not only am I not blowing it up, I'm adding LeBron to a core of Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. And then after LeBron's farewell tour is done and I'm raising another championship banner, I have another max contract slot. So I could get Donovan to recommit in Cleveland. I could get Evan Mobley, who's still going to be under contract. And then because I got out from underneath Jared Allen's money, I got out from underneath Darius Garland's money, I have a max contract slot. I'm going to add another guy after LeBron James is done and retired to pair with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. That's why this LeBron thing right now feels so real, because it actually makes a ton of sense. In years past, I've pounded this drum kind of as a little bit of a bit, to bring LeBron back. He's the one. I always said that, you walk around the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and now Rocket Arena, and you go in the team shop and they got all the jerseys for sale. They're selling Allen jerseys. They're selling Strus jerseys, which they have to. There should be one jersey for sale in that whole stadium, and it should have a number 23 on it.
All right, but it's not the Cleveland LeBron Jameses. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They built them around different players that are not LeBron James.
But if it wasn't for LeBron James, they wouldn't have this city would still be starving for a championship. So we want to hear from you guys. 216-474-0092. Talking all things Cavs. Would you bring LeBron James home, even if it means shaking up the core for LeBron via his agent Rich Paul, when they picked up the player option on Sunday, said that his goal is still to contend for NBA championships. LeBron's entering year 23. He ain't moved by DeAndre Ayton. Trust me. If anything, DeAndre Ayton is the polar opposite of what LeBron wants to play with. Is he not? Historically in DeAndre Ayton's career, he's been labeled as lazy. He's been labeled as a guy that's not really a team player. He's a fit out, not fit in type of guy, and that's everything that LeBron James is against. So I don't think DeAndre Ayton to the Cavs, DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers as a buyout guy is going to move LeBron off his stance of wanting to contend for a championship next season.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Lakers are doing everything to build around Luka Doncic. That's the goal. That's why they traded for him. And partly because LeBron tried to make things work with Anthony Davis out there. It didn't work, so they shipped them off. And the other thing with LeBron coming back to Cleveland is, all right, so we can call it like a gut or a fire sale or a TNT, whatever we want to call it. It is still trading 3 to 4 high leverage players that you then need to replace. And at this point in the offseason, who the hell are you going to replace them with? And then also after LeBron's 1 year or 2 years, Donovan Mitchell is going to be on the other side of 30. And all you're going to have left is Evan Mobley. And so, unless Evan Mobley is this guy that can carry a roster of no names, then why? That's another reason as to why would you do that?
I just think they have to do it now because the window now is open. And I don't know that the window now being this open is going to exist this time next year when the Celtics are looking at getting Tatum back and they're going to be reloaded with probably a top draft pick, and the Pacers will be getting Halliburton back, and the New York Knicks, all of those guys are still under contract. That's why I'm so bent up about doing this now and pulling the trigger now, because I agree with you. It would send shockwaves through the world of sports, through this city and beyond, because it would be a historic package just to make the salaries work for LeBron James. But at the end of the day, you're getting LeBron James, and LeBron, Evan, and Donovan will put the Cavs in a better position right now to contend for an NBA championship than they currently exist. And then if LeBron decides he retires, great. You just opened up a max contract slot to get Donovan and Evan some more help, in seasons beyond, in seasons to come. That's why I want this to happen so badly right now, because it's the blend of all of the perfect worlds. Ty Jerome puts on his Instagram story last night that the Cavs never presented him an option to return. And I think a lot of people saw that quote and ran with it. A lot of people maybe a little bit up in arms. Kobe Altman, some people a little bit upset. Ty Jerome meant a ton to the Cavs throughout the regular season. He really did. I think he embodied and encompassed what the Cavs were building towards. And then, like a lot of the players come postseason, the bottom of the bag just let out for Ty Jerome. But I found it interesting that the Cavs never gave him an offer sheet, because to me, it shows me that they're looking for a whole new identity in the backcourt. You parlay the Ty Jerome news and that he wasn't presented with an opportunity to return with the fact that Darius Garland was mentioned in trade talks for Kevin Durant. Well, what were the Cavs' issue this postseason? It was that they were kind of small and then they kind of got beaten up. And that's the same issue that's persisted now in 3 straight postseasons. I think the Cavs are looking to shuffle some things around. And this is a very small shuffle, but the fact that they were able to pretty much show Ty Jerome the door after he meant so much to them throughout the regular season shows me that their philosophy and ideology are moving towards mine. 82-game regular season means nothing, nada. It's about the playoffs. It's about the postseason. It's finding these guys, these pesky players, these TJ McConnell type dudes that are NBA playoff risers and not NBA playoff fallers. I think Kobe Altman might be subscribing to that same Nick Padone ideology that DG no-showed one too many playoff games. Ty Jerome no-showed pretty much every single postseason game that the Cavs had that mattered. And it was time to shake some things up. I like that they get bigger in the backcourt with Lonzo Ball. Obviously, Anthony, the thing with Lonzo Ball is the health. The trade won't go official for Lonzo Ball until July 6th, I believe. And boy, is that going to be one of the most anticipated physicals in the history of the Cleveland Clinic courts out there in Independence, because Lonzo Ball is a guy that has had every single hang-up that a basketball player can have in terms of an injury. But when he's healthy, I think they understand that Lonzo Ball is a guy that's big, physical, imposing guard. And it's a completely different fit than what Ty Jerome gave them last year. I think they maybe looked at their depth chart and they saw Ty Jerome, Darius Garland, Craig Porter Jr. kind of fits that same bill, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, who they have to play at the 3, but really his true position is a shooting guard. They got a lot of small dudes that are kind of all the same archetype,
Yeah, I love the Isaac Okoro for Lonzo Ball trade. And it's not saying anything important to say that, yeah, if Lonzo Ball is any bit of healthy, even more than 30 games in a season, that's a really good trade. You get out from under the Okoro contract. Okoro played his way out of 2 playoff rotations with 2 different really smart head coaches. So, okay, great. Congratulations. I know it creates a little bit of a clog at that point guard shooting, like that 1-2 of small guys, and Lonzo helps you get a little bit more size. I don't know if I really love, especially knowing what Ty Jerome got in his final contract with Memphis. I don't know if I love giving that money to Sam Merrill instead of Ty Jerome. I really don't.
Feels weird, doesn't it? I like Keith Smith's input on that. It feels exactly what happened is the Cavs, just like everybody else, anticipated that Jerome's market was just going to be bigger. And they maybe jumped the gun a little bit because Sam was a restricted free agent and they decided to extend him. Now Sam Merrill is a really hard worker. Sam Merrill has improved, in my estimation, every single year that he's been in the NBA. And we saw the reports, he's the highest paid number 60 overall draft pick in the history of the NBA. But 1-to-1, I think a lot of people in Cleveland probably would have preferred to have Ty Jerome over Sam Merrill. It's fascinating, though, because I think Kobe made the conscious decision when he did that they went with Merrill, bigger dude. They knew that Lonzo Ball was going to be the Ty Jerome replacement. And 1-to-1, they probably just like the fit. for Lonzo better than Ty Jerome. I do like that about Lonzo is that he is kind of lineup proof in that way. Like you could throw Lonzo out there with DG and have two true point guards on the floor, and it doesn't look that weird because Lonzo gives you a little bit of size that Darius doesn't. Vice versa. When DG needs a breather, when Donovan needs a breather, you could throw Lonzo Ball out there and have somebody with a little bit of size. I like the fact that they were able to upgrade in that way, and I really think that's Kobe's philosophy is it was time to get bigger, and they saw too much of guys at the point guard position just getting picked on and bullied.
I agree with you like halfway. I think they did a really good job with Lonzo upgrading the bench. And I think I came on here with you and said what the finals demonstrated to us is you need a more holistic, deep team. And for whatever, like we always thought about that with the Cavaliers that, hey man, all the 1 through 9, like this is a great team. You can trust anybody. Right. And then all of a sudden in that Pacers series, it just zapped up to
couldn't trust anybody.
We trust like 2
1 through
here.
2. And the 1 through 2 was Donovan Mitchell and oddly Max Strus.
Right. So now I just wonder if like Darius Garland's getting the most minutes at the 1. Are you okay with keeping that undersized guard there? Are you okay with keeping Donovan Mitchell, who's undersized there, even if that means that you switched out Ty Jerome and Isaac Okoro for Lonzo Ball and Sam Merrill?
That's the question that Kobe Altman's going to have to answer now, right? Is how do the two small guards continue to coexist? Or are we continuing to run into the same brick wall that the Portland Trailblazers were running into for all of those years with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum? Remember, they did a very similar thing out in Portland where they continued to run back Dame and CJ, and they weren't getting any further than what our Cavaliers were getting. They continued to do that, and that was the one cautionary red flag that people gave Cavs fans when the Donovan Mitchell trade went down was, boy, is that a small backcourt. Could the offense be fun when it works? Absolutely. And it has been. Donovan and Darius combined have given us a lot of fun moments offensively. Defensively is where things get a little bit shaky. And I think that that's where Kenny Atkinson's going to need to be trusted come postseason time. Hopefully, again, Lonzo Ball is available come that point of the season. But if things are starting to look a little bit weird with Darius Garland, I think you got to pull the trigger, Anthony. I do. I think if things start getting weird with Darius defensively, you got to make the switch and you got to go to Lonzo Ball. It's going to be fascinating to see how Kenny Atkinson manages this thing.
Yeah, as long as he's healthy. Boy, that would suck if he's just not healthy.
It's a big if, isn't it? Because what has Lonzo Ball shown us that he's capable of being a healthy NBA player?
No, he's
not much.
He's made a glass. But yeah, I don't know if we all just missed the boat on Ty Jerome and like the entire, because all of us, we were talking about it and we had people on the station throughout the day, all throughout the offseason of, man, Ty Jerome's going to get $20 million. I mean, like, did he really play himself out of $10 million a year in 4 games?
I think he might have, right? Because why else are you going to Memphis? Think about that. Like, it's not that Memphis is that better of a fit than Cleveland. A John Morant guy, hello, he exists. He's going to take up a bulk of those minutes and a bulk of that usage in the backcourt for the Cavaliers. I mean, for the Memphis Grizzlies. So, like, it's not like Ty Jerome picked that to be a better basketball fit. I'm with you. I think we just completely overestimated and oversold what his market was. I think there's something to be said as well. Perhaps the Cavaliers believe, and I'd be willing to sign up for this. I'd be willing to humor the Cavs on this if this is their true school of thought. Maybe they believe that Kenny Atkinson's system made Ty Jerome and not the other way around. Maybe Ty Jerome didn't have this big breakout 6th man of the year campaign that we all thought that he was having, and his mentality and everything. He played with a little bit of an edge. Maybe they thought that, no, Kenny's system could kind of make anybody go. Maybe swap names. If that had been Craig Porter Jr., Maybe the Cavs believe that he could have been in the sixth man of the year race. Maybe the Cavs believe that he could have been that really sound guard to spell Darius Garland and provide the Cavs an offensive spark off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is all really just hot air, like Sam Merrill versus Ty Jerome, and like I'm okay with that. We're talking about sixth and seventh and eighth men off the bench. Like it's not. It is a big issue in the playoffs, but it's really. I hope that Sam Merrill is that guy, like you mentioned, that TJ McConnell type deal that we can, the Peyton Pritchard or whoever, that we can be that spot shooter. That's awesome. Ty Jerome does remind me a lot of Colin Sexton, where he's going to be a really good, like 20 points per night player. And we'll see with Colin Sexton in Charlotte this year, 20 points per game on a bad team. And maybe they'll get to the 8 or the 7 seed. They'll probably win the play-in game. But on a good team, he's maybe not the guy that you want to rely on, especially in the big moments. And it demonstrated itself in that playoff game.
Dude, that backcourt, by the way, of Colin Sexton and LaMelo Ball, a ton of dribbling. Good Lord, is that going to be a lot of dribbling in Charlotte basketball? I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to look. Probably ain't going to look very good. But I'm with you. I don't think the Cavs... I want to leave Cavs fans with this as a parting thought for Ty Jerome. I think some of the outrage that we saw last night and this morning was a little much. I think the Cavs won 64 games. They're going to be okay without Ty Jerome.
The outrage toward the Cavaliers about Ty Jerome?
Correct.
Why is that?
I trust the vision. I trust that Ty Jerome, I can't dismiss what I saw with my own 2 eyes. And that's the fact that Ty Jerome no-showed in the postseason. And if Kenny Atkinson wants to take a stab at Lonzo Ball and having a little bit of a different ideology than a bunch of small point guards, I'm okay with it.
I agree. Did I miss the point in the game where Sam Merrill took over and was awesome?
No.
So that's what's been weird about this is we gave the money to the guy that wasn't that good in the first place.